Hello and welcome to the Knitting Traditions podcast. My name is Inga, and this is my little corner on the internet where I talk about my knitting. Today is a little bonus episode coming to you from the cabin. It's a quiet Monday morning, late fall. I just got the fireplace going and I'm sitting inside with a warm beverage, so I hope you have something to drink as well. Um, I am using one of the mugs that my mother bought for the cabin, and this is in Norwegian because I live on the west coast of Norway. And this mug says strikkekjerring, which roughly translates to, excuse the language, knitting bitch, knitting hag, knitting crow. Um, I don't know which word would be the exact translation, but kjerring is kind of a it's a word that men use for their female partner, which is not the nicest word, but it also has like a little bit of love in it, like it's their woman kind of I don't know. But yeah, let's call it knitting crow? No, I don't know. But it's a really fun mug. We have two or three other one is listen to experienced women, I think, and I don't remember the other one, but this is not why we're here. I digress. Mm. I am wearing one of my very first knits that I ever made. This is a mock neck, um, super long sleeves with a thumb hole. I don't remember if there was a thumb hole in the pattern or if I made that up. I think it was in the pattern. This is a sweater that I knit from a book which is authored by dorthe skappel. I think skappelstrikk is the book. There's at least two books. I don't remember if this is from the first or the second. I have both of them. And it has this color work down at the bottom, and then it has a split hem. And yeah, this was one of the very first sweaters that I made, and I had to redo the color work because I made it super tight. It was the first time I think that I ever did any sort of color work. The yarn is some sort of unnamed yarn that I bought on sale in some random store, probably 7 years ago. This is a very old sweater. Um, and I think the row gauge here is as if it was a bulky weight. Um, it was knit on very big needles, probably 8. Um, it does pill quite a bit, but honestly, I don't care. This is a sweater that I have here at the cabin. This is what I'll put on if I'm going to work outside. I don't care if this one gets dirty or if at some point I have to throw it away. It's not one of my pretty knits, but it is very comfortable. It is very warm. Um, I do wish I had more sweaters like this, actually. Um, but yeah, no, it's a really nice throw-on sweater that I'm not worried about. And I think it's the only sweater that I have with a mock neck. Maybe I should make some more. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the mock neck, but it is nice that it's not super tight on the neck. Um, and I do really like that the sleeves are way too long because then I can pull them down if it is really cold outside. I don't really wear the thumb holes because the sleeves are too long. That's not the pattern's fault, it's all me. But yeah, no, it's a great throw-on piece. Um, so maybe we should get into some knitting. I don't have that much to show you. I did bring the things that I am working on with me up here. But the last 2 weeks was a lot of work for me. If you're new here, I hope that you like this content. There's lots more episodes to watch. I have like a playlist on my channel where they are chronological, if that's of interest if you're new. And next week I am moving. Me and my boyfriend of 6 years, we bought a house together. So I wanted to record this little episode because I don't know how busy we will be with the move and everything. So I figured I'd talk about what I have. Hey, I'm a little bit of a chaotic coffee drinker. I keep spilling. So maybe we should talk about some little finished objects that I finished. I finished a pair of socks, men's size socks that I made from scraps. This was some skeins, balls, I guess, of yarn that I had in my stash. I had 3 different ones in a DK to Aran weight. I'm not sure what you would call this. This was just some commercial sock yarn that they sell at the food stores here in Norway, because the food stores sell yarn and knitting needles, so it's very accessible to everyone. It's not as pretty as Indian hand-dyed yarns, but they do make great socks. If you just want to make something simple. Um, so I wanted to use up some of my stash before the move, and you don't even see that I've made a dent in it, but I'm trying. So these are a pair of vanilla socks for my brother. I hope he's not watching. I use my Mosaic pattern, which is a top-down construction with the sort of heel that my grandmother taught me to knit. And then I did 8 rounds of the light gray and then 4 of the, what would you call it, a pinky beige. And I used the marled for contrasting heel cuffs and toes, because inside the ball band of this yarn, I say the name of it in the last episode, if that is of interest. Don't remember it now. Inside the ball band there was patterns for how to make socks, and it said that for a men's pair of socks you would need 3 balls. So I used all 3 in this way so that I could make a pair, and I still had quite a bit left of the marled and the beigey pink. This is, I guess, a size 43. That's what the sock blockers are. These are some sock blockers that I bought on Etsy years ago, or I guess my brother bought them for me. I sent him a link. 27 centimeters, 10.6 inches. However, I find that they're a little like it sticks on little wooden fibers, little fleeces that the yarn get caught on. It's not a smooth surface, it's rough, which really does not work for sock blockers. It should be smooth, I think. I much prefer than my metal ones that just easily slide off and on. I did, however, place an order for 3 more wooden ones for 3 different sizes. And I am hoping that the yarn doesn't tag on the wood there, that it's smooth. And I guess if not, maybe I'll buy some, not paint, but like lacquer, the see-through thing, and paint them so that they get more smooth. I guess that is something you could do. So yeah, so when I try to put it on, it kind of gets stuck on these little splinters of wood. So yeah, I bought another one of these, a different maker. I don't know who made these. In size 43, 44, 38, 39, and 36, 37, because that will make me, that would work for gifts for the men in my family, myself, and women in my family. So yeah, I finished those. And then I had quite a bit left of the pinkish beige, so I cast on a baby's hat. So this is for a newborn. I have quite a lot of friends who are pregnant right now, so I just cast on, I think I looked at the ribbing of the sock and cast on, I think, 0.5 times that to get a bigger circumference than the cuff of the leg, figuring that this should fit a newborn's head. It's very stretchy. It's a 2x2 rib. I use the Norwegian cast on, also known as, I think, the old German cast on, which is similar to the long tail cast on, but it has some extra steps in it, and it's just very stretchy. I prefer this cast on over the tubular cast on, and that's just because it's not fiddly for me. It goes really quickly. But I guess it's what you're used to, right? The tubular cast on looks beautiful if you get it right, and it's also very stretchy. This works for me, so I use this cast on in almost everything. So this hat can be worn either this way, or folded up. I guess it really depends on the baby's head, how big the baby is. And then when I got to the crown, I did decreases on every second purl, because you do 2 knit 2 purl, right? So on every second purl section I purled 2 together, and then I purled 2 together on the purl section that I hadn't in the next round, and then I think I started knitting the knit 2 sections together, and then, you know, kind of just decreased. I don't know, there's no true science to it, but I think it turned out really cute. And I used up all the scraps from this yarn. So this is how much I have left of the light gray, which really isn't anything. And I have this much left of the marled. This will not be enough to make a hat like this. So I don't know what I'll make this for. Maybe if I find some other miniature projects, I can do stripes. But yeah, really happy with this one. So this one will also be a gift knit. Fall is here, and I am starting to just think a little bit about gifting things for Christmas, and also having several pregnant friends. I do feel, I don't know, I shouldn't say I feel pressured, because nobody really expects me to, but at the same time I knit so much that I kind of feel like I should gift something to the little humans who are about to be born. But since nobody is expecting anything, I don't feel that much pressure, so I'll just see. If I make something, I can gift something. And hopefully they will like it if they get something. So since we're on a roll with the gift knits, I will just show you one last finished object, and then or maybe I'll be excused to sneak in a work in progress before finished objects, since we're on the gift knitting. So I have this yarn. This is also a commercial yarn that they sell in food stores around Norway. This is called Adore alpaca, and this is from Gjesdal, which is a Norwegian, I think it's Norwegian, yeah, it should be, yarn producer of commercial yarn in Norway. And this is 60% alpaca and 40% acrylic. It's extremely soft. It's 160 meters per 50 grams. I was initially making a sweater out of this for someone in my family, but I just really hated knitting a sweater in this color. It's just really not my color. I don't know why. It just wasn't giving me any pleasure to knit with, and then the yarn was splitting, and it didn't really work with the structure of the sweater that I was knitting on, and it just wasn't enjoyable. And my cousin was knitting the same pattern with the same yarn in white, and I think it took her 2.5 years to finish it, so that wasn't very motivational for me either, even though probably I would have knit it up faster, but it just wasn't giving me joy. So I ended up making something else for that person, and then I figured I will scrap it and use this yarn for something else than a sweater. So I just cast on a very simple garter blanket, which will be a baby blanket for one of those babies who will be born soon. And I was inspired by the half and half wrap. I finished mine recently, and I am planning on casting on more. It's just something nice about that garter, the simplicity. So I wanted to make a garter blanket. Um, Also because, there are so many beautiful structured baby blankets, but from experience, I know that at least the people I know, they use the garter simple ones a lot more because they're not so afraid to use them. If they have all these beautiful leafy structures, they're a bit scared to ruin them. So this, I think, will be a nice blanket for everyday use. And I'm using the sort of I-cord edging that I picked up from a friend to knit with when she was talking about her half and half wrap, which means at the end of the row, when you get to the end and you have 3 stitches left, you put the yarn to the front and slip those 3 stitches, turn your work and knit until you have 3 stitches left, put the yarn to the front, slip them, and you just keep doing that and you get a very nice edging on the side instead of those garter bumps. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I have started the second ball, so I hope I have enough for the blanket. This is the second ball, and then I have this one, and then I have half a sweater to rip back. So I think it should be fine. We shall see. It's very stretchy, so I guess if I feel like it's a bit too small, I could just, when after I've washed it, I could stretch it when drying so that it gets bigger. That's also a possibility. But yeah, so very unlike me, all those 3 colors that I've been knitting on there. But I have it all in my stash, so it's a great way to use up the stash that I don't see making for myself and giving it away to better recipients. All right, so finished objects, because I do have a finished object. Ta-da! So this is what started out as the Weekender by Andrea Mowry, and I guess except for the cast on stitches for the body and inside here the slip stitch detail, this kind of went into becoming a completely different pattern. So I started out with the split hem, which is longer, and smaller needles. I used this yarn, which is Into the Woods Folklore in the color Roots. This is more color accurate. And this is extremely rustic, prickly yarn. Even I am struggling to wear this, which says a lot because I do love the rustics. It did soften up a bit with washing, and I think I will probably wash it or soak it one more time to even soften it up more, or I'll just wear it with a long sleeved shirt underneath, and then wearing it would also soften it up. My friend Brittany from Crooks Fibers, she made her wool and honey in this yarn, and she says it softens up a lot, so I'm looking forward to that. So I made a lot of modifications, yarn, needle size, basically everything. I liked the knit fabric more than the the pearl fabric. So I continue doing the slip stitch on the inside so that I can actually wear this sweater both ways. Um, and then it's supposed to have a very different construction. I decided to do a raglan because I didn't want the neck so far up because of the itchiness of this yarn. Um, I didn't have a pattern for that, so I kind of tried to freestyle it a little bit. So I knit the sleeves. I did a, I don't know, 7 centimeter cuff, and then I did some increases. So I made two, and then I put them together with the body. I made the body longer. Um, I didn't know how much yarn I would have because I had 4 skeins. So I used almost 2 on the body, almost 1 hole on the sleeves, and then I did helical knitting in the round to alternate skeins so that I wouldn't have an abrupt color change. Um, and there are some great videos on YouTube about how to do helical knitting in the round. Maybe I can make one in the future if there's any interest, but I'm not really a tutorial maker. So yeah, I did that, put them together, and then I felt like I had so many stitches on the body in order to make the raglan work, because I don't like the really long raglans with the bat wings. I don't like that. I wanted to stop underneath my arms or just a few centimeters below. So I kind of had to usually you do raglan decreases on every second row, but I felt like that wouldn't be enough. So in the beginning, I did every row for the body, and then I did every second for a few rows, and I just realized that no, it's still gonna be way too long. So then I went back to doing every row, decrease on every row for both the body and the sleeve side of the raglan, all the way up. And I also even did some extra decreases on the just random places around the body and the sleeves. And then I did a short ribbing for the 1 by 1 ribbing for the neckline. I set some stitches on the front on hold. I did not bind them off because I find that if I just keep them on hold instead of binding them off and picking up later on, it looks nicer. So I put some on hold, and then I did German short rows from one side here around the back to the other, and then for each time I put one more stitch on hold. So it made kind of a shallow crew neck. And then I tried it on, and I was actually a bit unsure if I had decreased too rapidly, that it was actually too short here. But when I put it on, the neckline stretched out nicely, and I figured that once I wash it and dry it, if I dry it now on a hanger, I can kind of pull the shoulders down so that I do get a little bit of a wider neckline because I don't want it high up on the neck. And that worked out pretty well. I am going to wear it and see how it works. And if I find that it's still too high on the neckline, that I would like an even steeper crew neck, then I do have this much yarn left. So I could just rip back, do less decreases, so I have more stitches and thus a wider neckline, and that could work as well. But I'm a bit of a lazy knitter. I don't like ripping back. I will do it if I have to, but I think this turned out well after washing it, so we shall see how that goes. So this is my raglan sweater with a split hem, and if I turn it inside out, I didn't show you, so I can turn it inside out. So I tried to kind of weave in all the ends or spit splice where I could. Didn't really work for the helical knitting. so that it's possible to wear it both ways, both inside out and the other way. So here, I hope you can see, this is the other side with the pearl side with the slip stitch detail down the front, and it's also down the back. So two sweaters in one. This side inspired by the Weekender, but a very different construction, gauge, yarn, and length and everything, but it has that detail. So yeah, I'm happy with this, and I hopefully it'll soften up a bit more. And if not, it's gonna be one of those great sweaters to wear when it's cold outside. This is going to be so warm that it can also almost work as a thin jacket that is warm and as warm as a thick jacket. Just need something underneath. So yeah, that's a finished object. And then I guess of the works in progress, I have two works in progress with me except for that baby blanket. And one of them you have seen before. This is the Shifty sweater by Andrea Mowry. I talk a lot about it in previous episodes. Um, couldn't meet gauge. I'm knitting size 2, but on 2.75 millimeter needles. And I'm using the color Grumpy Birds, which is dyed in the wool by Spin Cycle, as the base color. And I'm using their Nocturne burnt sugar, brown sugar, one of those, for the bumps. You're supposed to have 3 contrasting colors, but I'm using only one. And this is how much I have left. And I'm still not done with the sleeves or the body. So I think I need to buy some more of this. It's quite an expensive yarn. So maybe I will see if I have something in my stash that looks similar, because this one doesn't have the very contrasting color changes as the dyed in the wool, because this is dyed on a darker base and this is just greeny brown tones, but mostly green tones. So maybe I have some green yarn that could work. If not, I'll just buy another skein. So yeah, I went up to 3 millimeters actually on the sleeves, because I've heard that when you knit a small circumference in the round, the gauge gets tighter. I haven't measured to see if it actually is, but my arms are proportionally bigger than my waist and body size, so I did that. I also have the recommended stitch count plus some extra stitches on the sleeves and fewer on the body. Just I need to do some modifications. I talk about it earlier on if you're interested, because I did the 4th section of the increases and it was just way too much fabric, so I went back and I did less increases than recommended, so I have fewer stitches now than the size 2 recommended. There's still a bit of extra fabric in this blue section here, which is the 3rd increase section, but I think when I just stretch it out like this, it looks nicer, so I'll just do that when I'm blocking it. And I did one sleeve, and I've done the number of sections as recommended in the pattern. It's way too short for my arms, so I don't know if it's that my row gauge is way off, or if I just have longer arms than the designer, which I almost always do. So I put them on hold because I just wanted to knit the second arm and see how much I have left of this, because I'm considering just making longer cuffs to compensate for them being shorter. So I might do that, just make longer cuffs to have it the right length, or I'll just keep knitting on them, and then I have the body left. So we shall see. I'm really enjoying knitting on it. It takes longer time than just knitting stockinette, because you're basically knitting every row twice with the Mosaic, but it's really nice to see the color changes. It's quite addicting. And as you see on the sleeves here, they are very different. I just didn't have another Grumpy Birds with this dark orange, but I think it's okay. It's supposed to be like this. It's a color changing yarn. Nothing is ever the same, so you can't really plan it out that well. But I think it looks okay, even though the sleeves are a bit mismatched. It's fine. So yeah, that is what I am working on. I was working on this yesterday. And then I also have another project that I'm keeping in my Urban Stitcher bag with these beautiful sheeps, which she made for me. So this was a gift from her. And inside I am working on this very autumnal sweater. And this is a mohair yarn that I bought at a knitting festival, I think last fall, from Mohair. She runs an online store in Norway, but she was at the knitting festival. And this is a pattern of hers. It's called the Vinter sweater, which is a winter sweater. It translates to vintergenser. And I knit this in the colors that she had kind of used in her pattern. So I knit that, but when I was at the festival, I also bought yarn to make a more autumnal one because that one had blue in it, and I'm more of a warm colored person, so I did get the more autumnal colors. Now that I'm knitting it up, I feel like it would look better without the red section. But no, this is what I'm doing now. I'm not ripping back because it's mohair. It's knit on thick, I think it's 7mm needles. And I'm almost done with the body, and then I need to split for the front and back and then do the sleeves. And I'm also using this kind of effects glittery yarn. So I'm holding this together with the gold, and then I'm holding this one together with this brown. So that does give it a nice little sparkle. And I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna keep this myself, because I did buy it with the intention of keeping this one and then maybe gifting the other one. But I can't decide. I have someone in my family which I'm kind of wanting to give this one to for Christmas. We shall see when it's done if I am able to part with it or not, because that's always a struggle. But yeah, so really enjoying this knit. I love how this sweater looks when it's done. It's a very popular kind of sweater to buy in Norwegian stores right now, the big chunky knits with color work. But this one's handmade, so it's even better. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and I think the person I'm thinking of gifting it to would love it. So we shall see. So that was all my finished objects and my whips. But I have been spinning. I kind of feel like I have to force myself a little bit to start spinning, just because I enjoy the process of knitting a lot more. But I did process 3 fleeces last fall and winter, and I really do want to get around to spinning them up so that I can knit with them. I do, however, feel like I need to practice spinning a little bit because I've never spun before. I did buy an electrical spindle? No. This one is from Ashford. It's electrical. So you push the pedal and it starts spinning around. So you don't have to use your feet. You can just focus on feeding the fiber to try and get an even spun yarn. I'm struggling with that as well, but I did make up this, finished up this yesterday. I had already started it a few weeks ago. It's a very thick, thin, with some places where it's overspun, so it has like these little things. And yeah, I tried to not do that, but yeah, I it happens. I try, but I fail. Uh, but yeah, this I'm practicing on this. This is some fiber that I bought when I bought the spinning wheel two 2 years ago, the fall 2 years ago, and I was new to the whole spinning thing, and I forgot to write down what fiber this is. This is the natural color of the sheep. It's quite soft. No idea what it is. But yeah, I have a lot of this, so I'm trying to spin it up, see how much I get. Maybe I can knit something with it if it's not too awful. And if not, I'll make a rug. And then hopefully once I'm done with this, I will feel practiced enough to start the very special fleeces that I washed and carded myself. But we shall see. It took many hours to do this, and I'm not able to relax and watch TV, which I do when I knit. So I do find the process of knitting a lot more enjoyable and relaxing. Maybe it will improve. We shall see. But definitely I'm more of a knitter, and I'm doing this to make yarn to knit with. So yeah, that's all that I have been doing. And just enjoying a few days of calmness up here that I have off before going back home and moving. And we want to paint some walls, and we want to what's it called? There's the floors and the top floor and the stairs have like a yellowy coal, like it's a yellow wood color, and we want to file that down and then make it a cooler color, a bit more modern. So we want to do that. And then we have to move all our things, and we have to save up money for furniture. So I will try and behave and not buy too much yarn in the upcoming time. I did buy some cool things for my knitting room, some vintage old carders that I got from an antique store. So maybe I can show that once I'm in my new knitting room, because I don't have them here. I plan to hang them on the wall. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice to settle in there. It's just gonna be some heavy weeks until we get to that point. On Sunday upcoming, the 17th of October, I'm going to be hosting a little podcast section, or doing a podcast on the Indie Untangled. So if anyone's going there, I hope to see you. And until then, I hope you are well. I hope you're enjoying some lovely foods. I went to a local food market this weekend, and I bought some cheeses, brown goat cheeses, which is a harder cheese, and a soft white goat cheese, which was delicious. I made pizza with that. And then they also sold some smoked sausages that they made from different kind of game meat, and it was also delicious. So I hope you're enjoying the little things in life and getting a lot of knitting done, or whatever craft you enjoy. And then I hope to see you in not too long. Until then, I'm on Instagram if you want to reach out. So I will see you when I see you. Bye.